I have so many jobs to catch up on to prepare these borders for spring and summer next year. And one of the jobs I was going to do was overwinter this Snapdragon. And as I was moving it to the greenhouse, the pot disintegrated. So I'm going to repot that up, and I'm going to dig up some of the Snapdragons from the garden to put in it. And I'm also going to just tidy up the greenhouse, and I'll show you some of the Snapdragon seeds and how to collect them. And I'm going to finish off putting the Snapdragons in that raised bed in the greenhouse. So that's what and I've got, honestly, I was thinking about it today. I was thinking, I've got so much to do. When you have so much to do, you almost don't know where to start. So I thought, okay, let's just start here. So obviously the pot disintegrated. So with the little pot pieces, I used the broken pot pieces to put it in the bottom of this pot so that the drainage holes don't block up from the soil. Then I used some of my bulk spent soil to bulk it out a bit before I put these Snapdragons in it. And then obviously put some fresh compost. This is good fresh compost, good quality. I had to buy it because I've done so much gardening this year. I'm actually all out of my own, but I'm pleased to see all the leaves coming off now because they're going to make great compost for next year, or at least a start of great compost for next year. So as you can see, they were pretty wonky, so I just chucked them in, and then I went and got the ones from the garden that I want to put in here as well. Actually made quite a cute display in the end. So I think the pink ones were Costa Silva, and I dug those up from the garden. They've been pretty good. They were late flowering, so they preferred the cooler weather, so they came on after the worst of the summer was over. And they've been sort of pretty much flowering ever since. And even we've had 2 frosts, and they don't seem to be bothered at all, which should probably tell me that maybe they don't need to be overwintered in the greenhouse. But I just want to do it as an experiment anyway, to see what the condition of these plants are come spring. Now, some people say if you're going to overwinter them, you could chop back the foliage. I'm not going to do that. I don't know why people say that, because I always think if you want to keep a plant warmer, don't take its clothes off. Because, this will provide a little bit of extra microclimate warmth. Not a great deal, but a bit. So I'm all for keeping the foliage on the plants and then cutting them back in spring if you want to have more vigorous growth. But this is all experimental for me because I haven't grown Snapdragons for very long at all. Probably this is my 3rd year. So I'm still a bit of a newbie, really. But I actually do like planting them in this big bell pot. So that has given me some ideas for some displays next year of Snapdragons, and having them in big blousy sort of bunches like this in a pot I think is really beautiful. Anyway, as you can see, I've got them all in now, and because the old soil was pretty worn out and it was sort of falling off their roots, I just backfilled it and put extra compost in and sort of pressed them down so that they're sturdy in the pot and not flopping over. It took a bit more soil and backfilling than I thought it would because they were just simply so leggy, but I do think they look really nice. I've got to reiterate how nice I think they look. So I'll just show you some of the seeds, because there's one in here that's quite dry and sort of well past its flowering date. So I'll just pinch a seed pod off, which is just one of the buds from the flowers that's dried off. And then if you just pinch it, the seeds will just come out. And you can see how tiny they are. They're like little, full stops. It's actually easier to pinch the tip off the... there's not many in this one. They just come pouring out. But I suspect this one has already sort of sowed most of its seeds anyway, because it's been like this for a while. So if you just pinch out the tip of it and then tip it upside down, and they just come out. I mean, even this is a lot of seeds. If you think when I did my Snapdragon video, when I was sowing those apple blossom Snapdragons, and I was saying my seed packet video, I'll link it. And I got them home and I had 20 seeds. 20 seeds. Anyway, here you go. I'll just sprinkle these in the base of this pot here. If they grow, I can just prick them out next year and put them in the borders if I want, or in another pot, or they can just fill out this pot if they fit. But they were just free anyway, so chuck them in. there. And I thought it looked pretty nice, actually. So that'll flower for another week or so. I don't know when it'll go over. But there it is. And now I'll water it now it's in situ, because I don't want to carry it when it's full of water as well. And as you can see on the right there, I've got a fuchsia as well, which I'm overwintering in here. And I'm going to bring my pelargonium in as well. There are just so many jobs to do at the moment. It's so funny people talk about putting the garden to bed. And I think, I don't know, I feel like I'm always working in my garden, like all year round. I remember planting bulbs Christmas Eve. Was it even last Christmas or the Christmas before? So yeah, I just wanted to get them in. Psychologically, I was thinking they've got to be in this side of Christmas, you know. But well, they've got to in a way. If you think they've got to have a chance to grow in time for spring. So here's my pelargonium. I'm actually a little bit worried about keeping this in the in this round tunnel. It normally stays in my garage. In fact, they've died. That's why I've only got one. It even died. They even died in my garage last year. So anyway, I really like this cute little corner with my pelargonium, my snapdragons and my fuchsia overwintering. So now I've got to tidy the rest of the garden because I've got this stool in the way. I had a chair, I've moved that now. And I've noticed some weeds coming up through the gravel. So I'm just going to hoe those and get rid of them. Then I'm going to rake the gravel because it's, you know, where I've moved things around, it's got uneven. And I think I might, next time I go to the DIY store, I might pick up some more gravel to add to this floor. I want it a little bit deeper just to really suppress these weeds, and also just to sort of top dress it where some leaves have got in and, you know, I've dropped some debris and stuff on top. And I think another bag of gravel would really just smarten that up a bit. I'm also thinking about kind of adding some more shelving for more plants and more a seating area that's a little bit more, you know, somewhere where I can sit and have a coffee in between sort of, well, really, I only want to sit and have a coffee and admire my greenhouse from the inside. That's kind of, you know, what I like doing. Yeah, so here I am still clearing things up. There is so much to do. All right, so that's the overwintered plants in here. And then I've moved the seat at the back. I've re-leveled off the gravel, just generally tidied things up a bit because I was put off by the mess and it was putting me off doing the rest of the snapdragons in the raised bed. So just a few weeks ago, I hadn't even started some of them. So these snapdragons that I'm doing here, these apple blossom, they have now germinated as well as the phlox. But these ones are ones I did earlier on before. So the snapdragons that I did back in September are well away now. And then this catnip and the cornflowers, the gypsophilia, you can see here. These were all done in October. These were the phlox I just showed you being sowed, and the snapdragons. Remember, there was only 20 seeds, so there's not going to be a lot coming up there anyway. Both those seed packets were really mean. And then, yeah, so then I've got all these snapdragons going in here. And one of the reasons I wanted to obviously tidy the greenhouse, because it was really bugging me that it's really hard to concentrate, isn't it? I mean, you see all these kind of like tidy your house, declutter things, you know, it helps you think straight. It's true. I couldn't finish this border while everything was a mess. So I'm really happy that I've tidied all that up now. It's looking really good. And I just wanted it to be a really nice place where I can actually just sit and, you know, here on that stool and, you know, admire, you know, my greenhouse and what I've got growing. I mean, it looks really beautiful now with that pot there as well. That's really added to it. So I'm just going to finish that border, that raised bed there with the other snapdragons. And then I'm going to be pretty much done in here, apart from some potting on. But these hollyhocks, just look how great they look. Everything is just looking so good right now. I am delighted with this greenhouse, I can tell you. And I've even got a light fitting in here and a electric socket if I wanted to put some heating in. So here's the rest of the snapdragons going in. I just decided to try and get as much of that done today as I could to finish off. But I've still got loads more to do tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll show you, I think I'm going to show you the front raised bed. And I have to go bulb shopping because I'm just rearranging all my pots right now. and I've decided that I'm going to do a lot of moving around. Oh my goodness, I'm moving everything around. But even though I can't plant up the main borders because I haven't landscaped them yet, I can still plant up some honesty along here, for instance. And I know it did well here because look, it's even self-seeded new plants here. So I'm going to dig these up out of the gravel here and plant them where you can see soil along these pots here. But I also want to rearrange all my pots along this pathway, and certainly have at least this part of the garden looking really good, even if I can't, and just have that done, even if I can't plant out my landscape garden borders yet in the lawn because I haven't done them yet. And I'm waiting for some more plastic just to finish off the doors of the greenhouse. So I've had to just pin some plastic over tonight because it's going to be frosty. And then I've got some new plastic coming tomorrow. And then I thought with the remainder of the plastic, I'd do a little sort of cold frame project too. So lots and lots to come. So keep watching. Repotting these because they're already running out of nutrients, turning yellow. So, I mean, the jobs are endless. So make sure you subscribe to see what I'm getting up to. And I hope that you found this video helpful. And obviously, I'll update you on the Snapdragons next spring. So thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.